Well, hi. Hello. How's everybody doing out there in Christendom? This is Tim. We're all feeling kind of folly today. F-A-L-L-Y, not F-O-L-L-Y. I thought it was froggy. Well, welcome to another PT I can't even talk today. Yeah. Welcome to another PT podcast brought to you by Crossroads Community Church in Lindale, Texas. It is fall. And I mean, it feels like fall.
Yes.
I got up this morning and I forgot to close my garage door last night. And my garage, which is usually a brisk 89 degrees in that thing, was like 68 degrees in there. And then I pulled out and it was like 52, 51 degrees. And I rolled down my windows and just let the breeze blow in my hair.
Mm-hmm.
Hair?
Yes.
Hair? On your beard?
Todd,
Yes.
turn down your iPad.
Is it my iPad?
Yeah. Are you all connected to the live? Is that the deal?
No, just me and Joanna.
Okay.
I'm not connected to
I'm not connected either because I'm following the rules.
What are the rules?
Joanna's got it.
You asked Joanna to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Cheater.
I'll get off.
Cheater.
I'll get
Cheater.
He's trying to see all the comments on there. Yeah.
Well, I don't
he's
want to
trying
miss any.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but we got to give. She's so perfect that we've got to give her a hard time. I'm joined, obviously, you already know this, but I am joined by or with my incredible podcasting partners, Todd the Irishman Bergen, the farmer. The farmer.
The farmer, yes.
He was out selling pumpkins this morning. I said, well, not selling, but we were doing our donation, right?
Donation.
That's right.
Donation, right? Everyone we sell, we donate. So, and they were out there getting some and getting some pumpkins. And but what else are you doing, dude? How's everything going with the farm?
Farm's going good. I'm loving life, especially like this cool weather.
Oh man.
Do you have any more of those watermelon pumpkins? My wife still wants one.
Yeah, I got one.
They're $50.
$50.
Yes, they're $50 because you don't get hybrids.
Donation.
Yeah, you don't just
No,
get
for
one.
him, it's not a suggested donation.
You
pay it or you die.
Sorry.
We could give it to you for $49.99.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's better.
But you have to pay a
Such
cent of shipping and handling.
Such a
There
steal.
is shipping in. Yeah. Like my wife always says, everything's shipping and handling. And I handled it from the field to the inside of the building. And I'll have to handle it again to give it to you. That's
I don't want to know everything you're handling. All right. So, anyways, that's Todd. Steve the Bald Beauty Howard. What's up, Steve?
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
We're doing good.
We're good.
Good deal.
Are they doing good? Will they tell us?
I'm doing fantastic.
How's Gold Shield?
Gold Shield's rocking.
Gold Shield?
Rocking.
Gold Shield.
Shield.
Yep.
Shield.
And my wife's
love-
photography is doing amazing. She's killing it with the Santa.
No, wait a minute. Hold on.
He plugged
I
his
asked
wife.
you. Yeah, I asked you about Gold
I don't
Shield.
care. I'm going to put a plug in for my wife.
Wow.
You won't get a better Santa picture anywhere else, I promise.
Except for Mobile Santa.
Well, that's because she'll take a picture for you, You'll see the picture of Santa.
So is that Santa that I see on there? Is that a green screen behind there?
No, we can't reveal those secrets. We cannot reveal those secrets.
Green screen.
We are not going to reveal those secrets.
That is
it's
not a green
gonna,
screen.
Do not reveal
That is a
them.
real Santa. That is the real Santa.
The real?
Yeah, we have the real Santa come to our studio.
That's got to cost
All
you a
7 of them.
No, we have the real one.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. So that's Steve the Bald Beauty Liar Howard. And and now we're going to introduce to you somebody who gets paid to actually lie in text. Joanna, the author of Boils.
That's right. I lie for a living.
You're such a good liar.
She is also a youth pastor.
Oh, wait. That's what I was talking about. What are you talking about? That's what I was talking about.
Oh, now that's how rumors get started.
Yep.
Holy cow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So everybody's doing good. It seems like everybody's
we're
in
all
good
in
spirits.
Well, how are
and-
you
Good.
doing, Tim? Nobody asked you.
Well,
How are you doing?
aside from a hemorrhoid, I think I'm fine.
All right.
Yeah, everything's fine. I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
I can get you some herbs for that.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, we got some goldenrod out there.
You got some and some alum.
Alum?
Yeah, alum.
It makes your face.
No, yeah. You not know about that? So Anyways,
I don't know about alum
today we are talking about, you know what alum is. You know, and on the Looney Tunes, when they have that, but like the coyote actually drinks a little thing of that. I don't know why. They put like a label over it and he drinks it and his lips go.
Yep. Talk about dating yourself.
That's funny.
Hey, you know what? You're older than I am.
boy.
That's all, folks.
Hey, I didn't talk about
boy.
coyote.
I don't care if you talked about it or not. You know it. You know you saw it.
I did.
You can sit there in denial and act like you don't, but I know better.
Those were the best.
I know better. So yeah, we're going to be talking about a requested topic.
Yeah.
Stress,
Cool.
worry, anxiety, and the Christian, and kind of get into that conversation. But first, we are going to play another game.
Which one is it?
I think it's What the Heck again.
What the heck? I
What
like
the heck? What the heck?
What the heck?
I think we're going to play. Well, listen, I've been getting some feedback that these things go too long. And I just want to tell you, we just like to talk. So, we're those
Maybe
kind of
they
people.
want us to shut up and get to the point.
I haven't heard that comment. I think they'd rather us not talk about the topic and actually do more of these.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, how
Yeah.
funny.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe they could. Yeah.
But I'm not going to worry about it.
Wow. You're not going to worry
See
about
what you
it.
did there. That was good.
That was pretty good. We'll do 2 rounds today.
2 rounds. What the
2
heck?
rounds today. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
All right. If it's nasty, we don't need to like that. Okay. Oh, these are really good. All right. So we'll do the same thing. Only we're going to start with Joe this week. Joe, you pick somebody and they have to read you theirs. So, and we'll do the first round. Only one card, Steve, not both of them.
What? So, do we answer or other? Are they going to ask us like we did last time?
Well, if somebody says
Steve?
then you read them a card.
Okay.
And then if somebody says Tim, then I read them a card. If somebody says Todd, then he reads. Okay, so
Okay, gotcha.
we got it. And we'll do 2 rounds of it. So
Two
Slow
rounds.
but teachable. That one right there.
That's
Slow
not
but teachable.
He's actually pretty quick.
Teachable.
I think he just tries to
That's what
manage.
my teachers always said. Well, he is teachable.
I think he just tries to manage expectations and plays it off. Because I know he's smart. He just All right. So who are you picking?
I'm going to go with you.
Okay. Is cereal soup? Why or why not?
Cereal soup.
Is cereal. Well, you don't see.
Well, what if you have the
Hey,
alphabet soup?
Joanna's got to answer.
Killers. There's only.
Let her
cereal
answer, then
killers.
we can
Calm down.
conjecture.
I
We
have
can
to
conjecture.
contemplate this.
This is a really hard. This is a really hard topic
deep
for her.
stuff.
Deep, yeah. It could go so many ways.
This is really deep stuff.
I didn't say what kind of deep stuff, but it's deep.
Mama said that. My mama said that.
Okay, I'm going to say yes, cereal is soup
Why or why not?
because you have things that you eat floating in liquid, and that is basically soup. Sure, why not?
Why not?
Soup for breakfast.
That
Love it.
that just means that you can have cereal for dinner.
That's
Because
and my
it's
kids
soup.
do. It's soup.
Yeah,
I
It's
am
having
liking
cold
that.
soup.
You know what?
My son
I
does it
like
all the
this.
time.
No, I'm going to justify this from now on.
yeah.
I'm having
Yeah.
soup.
Soup. You're having soup
Every night for dinner.
Yeah, just tell the kids, what are we having
The
for
kids,
dinner?
what are you having?
Oh,
Soup. We're having soup. What kind of
Go
soup?
get the Lucky Charms.
Okay.
Marshmallow.
I'm not even going to argue with it because
It makes sense.
Why would you argue?
Oh, okay. So Ashley says it's not soup because it's not hot.
There are cold
Soup?
soups,
Yeah, but-
unfortunately.
There's
There-
cucumber soup,
There
which is really
there
good.
are. There are.
That's really good.
Ash, I'm agreeing with you. I think that most soups don't have just milk over top of it, and a lot of them don't have flakes like in the almond crunch thing. I've never seen a soup with almonds in it.
Yeah,
but
I've seen
I-
soups with almonds in it.
What?
I like the idea of
Where?
cinnamon
Yeah.
toast
Yeah,
soup.
the ones that have
Cinnamon toast soup.
I am all about some cinnamon toast soup right now,
cinnamon
even if
toast
it
soup.
doesn't have a broth base. That was the other argument.
Oh, that's
soup
not,
has a broth base. That's a good
That's
point.
a good point.
That's a good
That's
point.
a good point. I'm going to say
Yeah.
that.
I don't know.
Whoever's saying these things is very educated, and I
They
think
may
you're
be
fantastic.
educated. It's probably my wife.
It's Ashley.
Oh,
Okay.
Ashley.
Ashley.
Okay. So, Todd, you're up. Pick somebody.
Stevie Wonder.
Ooh, I know which one.
The bald beauty is about to talk. They didn't.
If humans came with a warning label, what would yours say? I'm glad you picked me, man.
Well, I could suggest that if my warning label was on mine, it would be always stand to the front and never be surprised what other things will come out of
The back.
I know what it would be. It'd be warning: contents under pressure. Don't tamper with.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's good.
That is definitely Todd's warning label. Contents under pressure. Do not tamper with.
Excuse me.
So, and I'm not talking even about the air below. I'm talking like,
Yeah,
something
words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Tell
All
it
right,
like it is. That's a farmer for you.
That's give me your warning label thing. Okay. All right, Steve-O, pick.
Okay. Joanna.
Sorry. Okay. If you could talk to one species of animal, what would it be?
Steve?
Of
He's
course.
like the mirror.
Man's best friend, a dog.
You know, I got to be honest. I think it's probably an owl because you kind of like who?
Jeez.
I can talk to them already.
I thought I was mean to him. What was it? What's your animal, dude? Did you say a dog?
A dog, of course, because you always want to meet your friend, you want to talk to him, hang out.
I think there would be a lot of people.
And then he would always say nice things to you because he loves you.
He's a dog, right?
That's what I was about.
It's all
You're the
good.
best in the whole wide world. Who would want to hear that?
I don't think that's true. I think a lot of the things that dogs think about us, we wouldn't want to know.
Right. I agree. I agree
That
with
smells
you.
really funny.
My dog would
Why do you
always
pee in my
say,
water dish?
You're the
Yeah.
best master ever.
The toilet, dude.
My dog never does that. I'm sorry.
His
I would
nose is
ask
short,
him-
He can't reach the
Lucky
toilet.
me. Yeah.
No, my dog probably, because he thinks he's human, is like, at 3 o'clock in the morning when I decide to flap my ears in the middle of the night and scare the living tar out of you, that should be your cue, you idiot, to get up and take me outside. And if you don't take me outside, I'm going to crap all over your floor just to make sure that you should know better. I'm going to train you. That's what he's thinking. Now, when my wife comes home, it's a different story. Then it would be like, oh my God, it's my. That's what it is. But me, like, you stupid.
Yeah,
Fat human.
I would much rather hear my dogs than my cats.
Oh,
like
yeah, your cats
you know what I
do
mean? Like that. That's the I'm contemplating your death. I'm going to eat your face. Like
Yeah, there's no telling what they're going to say. Yeah.
they're the ones I don't trust.
All right, I'm obviously picking Todd. So Todd, give me some loving, dude.
Right
give me
or
some loving.
Right or left?
I don't care.
Him and his buttons.
If you could bring one famous person back from the dead, who would you pick?
Ooh.
First
We know
of
it's
all,
not Jesus because he's already alive.
Paul.
Paul.
St. Paul.
Paul,
Simon?
St. Paul.
Oh, St. Paul.
Yeah. Paul or David.
Really?
Paul
Why?
or
One of the
David.
two.
Why would you
One of the
pick
two.
him? You wanna pick
I
your
would.
brain?
I
They
would
have good
want.
stories.
I didn't
Because
think
I'd
you
want
need
to
have
quiz
dinner with
Paul on theology. I'd really want to ask him, okay, what did you mean by this? And am I wrong in the interpretation of these things? Because often when you try to, as a pastor, when you're reading these things, you are subjugating the scripture and what you're reading through the filters that you have. And so it would be good to get it from the horse's mouth, proverbially. And I'd like to quiz Paul on that. Other coming seconds on that would be obviously, I'd like to talk to, if I could speak German, I'd like to talk to Mozart or Beethoven, and see what their process was. But
They were geniuses.
It says, if you could bring one.
I know. I was just saying those are honorable mentions.
Oh,
that
I'm
Paul
sorry,
is the one.
I didn't know if you heard that.
Well, I don't know if you heard that they were honorable mentions or not. So
But it's,
it's all right.
not
All right,
Saul.
Joanna, back to you.
Only Paul, not Saul. Paul.
same person.
Todd.
Okay, this one's kind of weird. Do you have a signature move or quirk that people notice or comment on?
I feel like I can't answer. Tim's over there shaking his head. What?
He knows the quirk.
Because he knows, I guess, the
Signature move. Yeah.
What is my signature move?
Well, we can't do this on air. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she has a signature move. We don't play that on air.
Oh my gosh.
Does it have to do with the Targaryen?
No, it does not. No, it's something else having to do with the finger. Okay, so anyways.
Okay, I do have one because my kids commented on it not too long ago.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Apparently, when we're singing on Sunday mornings, I have a tendency to slap my hip.
Yep.
That means you're trying to keep time.
Yes, because I'm actually terrible at keeping time, so it takes great effort. But that's apparently that's something that I do a lot and did not realize that I do it so much because my kids have now taken that as like a thing that they make fun of, constantly.
Hey, you're not the only one. Scotty, when he's playing. If you're not on time, by the way, you'll feel the foot rage of Scotty from across the sky. I hope you're listening, Scotty. I'm calling you out. It happened last night.
Did you have a bad drummer one time you had to try to keep in time?
No, she's a bad drummer.
Yeah, I slow things down a lot.
Every vocalist. And don't let him talk to you. Because Steve is the world's worst at prolonging vocal anything. Yeah.
Prolonging
our
vocal
guitarist
anything.
told me one time, he was like, "You're such a drag." Because I drag things down.
Who told you that?
That is
Daniel.
not true.
It's such a drag.
But he said it he was like laughing and he didn't do "Oh, you're such a drag."
All right. Todd, Todd, it's your turn.
Tim.
You're picking
Yeah,
me.
I'm picking
Okay.
you.
Oh, see, this just isn't you. But I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways.
Oh man.
If you could sing a duet with anyone, who would it be? First of all, if you could sing.
If you could
Tim
sing
Letch.
and you could do a duet.
Yeah,
If you could sing and you could sing a duet with anyone, who would it be?
But I guess since I'm doing a duet, I want to pick somebody who is way better and would supersede my voice, and then I could just kind of fade off in the background.
No, it's a duet. You'd have to actually sing. So if you could sing, and we're going to act like you can sing, hypothetically.
We're going to pretend like you can sing.
See, I was going to read that one to Jo because she picked me, and I was going to say that was a good one. But I was thinking, I'll say that. But it actually is more interesting with you. So go ahead. Tell me.
Go ahead.
Man.
Well,
See, singing's not at the top of my list.
But if you could.
If I,
who do you like?
Oh, man. I don't know. Reba.
Reba. Yeah. I like
Really?
Reba.
Yeah.
Todd,
I like
love
Reba
you.
too.
That's awesome.
I like Reba too.
Yeah.
Reba's good.
She's at the top of my list too.
She's cool.
Okay.
I mean, I bust out fancy with her, but
Let's.
not going to do it.
Here's your transparency. Don't let me down. All right. All right. Steve,
Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
pick somebody.
I can pick somebody.
You got Joe or you?
You got Joe.
I think you have to pick me.
I have to pick you.
And then I have to pick you.
Okay, Joe.
Oh boy. Okay. What set of items could you buy that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable?
I know this answer.
I do too.
The set of items that I could
Todd's like,
buy
I went there last week. I did it. Hold on.
He does it every week just to make her upset.
to make
To make your cashier the most uncomfortable.
I don't know.
Awkward.
Depends on the store.
Make my cashier most. I don't know.
Really? Are you serious? Let your mind.
Okay, so
wander.
if you're walking into a grocery store, what would you fight with your wife about going and buying? Because you don't want the cashier to see that you're buying it.
Lube.
I'd say that would do it.
that would be a good
See,
one.
I was thinking like shoveled duct tape.
No, no. See, listen, man. I'm telling you, there's a guy.
They call 911 then.
There's a guy on TikTok right now that everywhere that he goes with his dad, and while his dad's shopping for something, he'll call out something like, "Hey, Dad, what was the was it preparation H that you were asking me to get?" Or if he's with his wife, he goes, "What size of condom do you think I need?"
And she
Should be saying extra
small. A little one. Smallest
I wasn't going to do that, but if you make a cashier, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. What adult diaper did you need again? Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I need the extra thick.
Oh my gosh! All right, so I get Steve-O.
Oh, here we go.
I get Steve.
Okay.
Steve?
Would you ever pick up a hitchhiker?
Yes.
Really?
I have, and I would again.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
There's guns in his door.
There's guns right here, man.
Oh
What are you
my
talking
God.
about?
Okay, I'm out.
What are you talking
I'm out.
about?
No.
Look at those guns.
Did you see
Look at that?
Facebook?
Did you see that? There's a gun right here. It's a gun right here. There's a gun right here. Power of the spoken word, buddy.
Yeah.
And I got Jesus. Now, I would be pretty selective, obviously, if
Of course.
the dude looked like Arnold and, had, the mark of the beast on his forehead, I probably would rethink my whole position on this. But
Make him get the back.
The Holy Spirit would have to direct me.
But I would. I've done it before, much to the chagrin of my wife. So yeah, I would.
See, and that's the difference between a dude's answer and a girl's answer. Because I'm like, no.
Yeah, and you keep
And
it
I have
that
told
way.
my daughters, don't you ever,
No.
ever pick up.
No.
No, no.
But
No,
but
not a woman.
I don't care if I do have a gun in the glove box. No.
What if Jesus
no,
tells you
no,
to?
no,
No, you can't have it in the glove box. You got to reach
don't-
across them.
What if Jesus puts it on your heart?
What?
I don't think he will.
That's not true. That is absolutely not true. What if?
It would have to be a miraculous hearing the voice in my head, because I'm very firm on this conviction.
audio-
Yeah.
that-
And you need to stay on that conviction, I think.
You can't
Yes.
ever say never.
No, that's true.
You can't ever say never. So,
Okay. Just
and
stay
we
on
all
that
need to be
conviction.
open to those kinds of
Stay
things.
alive.
Stay alive. Stay alive. So many scriptures. All right.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think it's a practical position to take because people are stupid in this world. There's
Yes.
some evil
Yes,
people.
People are dangerous.
But I also will say that we have a father who takes care of us. And
That's
so
right. He
if
does.
he does lead us or prompt us to do something like that, you never know. And it is a terrible assumption to believe that every person that's on the side of the road that needs a ride is bad. But
I'm
I would
worried.
say
I'm worried about it.
he already beat you that joke. All right. So, anyways, I'm just saying, just the pastor and me saying, listen, don't cut off all of it. But at the same time, very practical position
yeah,
to take.
the mother in me tells my daughters, don't.
Well, and I tell my kids not
Create
to,
a lot of anxiety.
especially on 45 going to walks on 20. And the Interstate 45, there is a penitentiary right there. Do not pick up hitchhikers in between there. Don't do
Yeah,
that.
no.
Just don't. Just don't do it.
Especially if they're in orange.
Just saying. Okay. But again, I say don't let your prejudices either keep you from doing something that would be loving and the most beneficial. But you have to talk to Jesus about that. Make sure it's smart.
Make
Not
sure it's
everything.
Jesus.
Not everything is permissible, but not everything's beneficial.
That's correct.
All right, so here's the scripture of the week. Matthew chapter 6, verse 25 through 34. There are tons of scripture that deal with this week's subject, but this one says, for this reason I say to you, this is Jesus talking, by the way, Sermon on the Mount. He says, for this reason I say to you, do not be worried about your life. Sounds like a commandment to me. Do not be worried about your life as to what you will eat or what you will drink, nor for your body as to what you will put on. Is life not more than food, and the body not more than clothing? Look at the birds of the sky, that they do not sow, nor reap, nor gather crops into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more important than they? And which of you by worrying can add a single day to his lifespan? And why are you worried about clothing? Notice how the lilies of the field grow. Do they not labor, nor they don't labor or spin thread for cloth? Yet I say to you that not even Solomon in all his glory clothed himself like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, will he not much more clothe you? You have little faith. Do not worry then, saying, what are we to eat? Or what were we to drink? Or what are we to wear for clothing? For the Gentiles eagerly seek after these things, for your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek first. I always put the ye in there because that's what the King James, and that's how I memorized it. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be provided to you. So do not worry about tomorrow. Again, another commandment. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So Jesus pretty much driving home the fact that, all right, don't worry. So here's the question that I want to pose. First of all, let's go around the table. We'll start with Todd. What stresses you out? And if it repeats around the table, that's fine. We can do that. But what stresses you out the most?
You guys jump on my bandwagon, I'm going to be mad.
I'm worried about that.
Calm down, Irishman. Calm down.
Yeah, content's under
Stressing me
pressure.
out.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
He's going to get mad.
Could you repeat the question?
What stresses you out?
What stresses me out?
Having to repeat the question.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stressful. I think deadlines.
Deadlines stress you out.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure they do.
That stresses you out the most.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not a big worrier about money. I'm not a big worrier about pleasing everybody. I just meeting what I promised. So I guess the deadline part is because I don't want to let.
You want to keep your word.
Yeah.
Got you.
To be a man of integrity.
Right.
That's good. I like that.
So you think that's a good thing to worry about?
It's good that he wants to keep his integrity.
Yeah, that's very
Right.
true.
But
should
he's trying to get to the nitty gritty part of it. Is that a good? Is that worthy of worrying? Is it something that I should? Because I should.
It sounds to me like more than worry, you value that.
Well, I do value, but
'Cause
the question is, do I have enough faith in God that He will help me with my challenges?
Well, don't overpromise.
Wow.
He just went full Yoda.
Yeah.
He did. He
Wow.
went. This is exactly what he did. He did this right here.
Do or do not. There is no try.
There's no try.
Wow.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Steve.
Tim looked long and hard for that one.
Don't overpromise. That's the word from
Steve?
All right. Steve, what stresses you out, Haas?
Okay.
He's got a list.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me take out my list.
Yeah.
I told you not to ask him the questions before we
Is this
came
like
here.
the top 10 or what are we doing?
Okay, so kind of what stresses me out, but I know God has everything is whenever you know you have.
Nope. Time out.
Don't justify
You
it.
can't say that. You can't say that.
Don't. Yeah.
You have
Oh my
1 month and not enough money.
Not enough money.
So money stresses you out.
Yes, it
Finances
does.
stretch you out.
Yeah, but I still like him, even though it is a stress. I don't let it consume me to the fact that I know who my provider is. So I still lean on that promise, but still, the humanness of me says, okay, this is what I have of month and this is what I have of money. And so when you have plenty of money and to manage that month, then you're less stressed because you have that. So having not enough money for your month does cause stress. However, you can turn that stress over and not let it consume you. And that's where I think it turns into worry.
Good answer. All right. What about you, Joe?
Money and teenagers.
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 Yeah.
Oh, I got to work on that one too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my teenager decided to start dating.
Ew.
The sad thing is the guy is like bigger than me, so I was like, oh no.
Your teenagers decided
with-
to start
whatever
dating the
the
person that
question
lives in your
guy.
house.
I can't go with the intimidation thing. No, it's a football player and he's bigger than
Oh,
I
he's
am.
big.
Yeah, he's big. I can't intimidate this one. He's big. He's a lineman big. I mean, he's got legs like trunks and he's big.
Steve,
You can
do
take
I
care of
need,
that.
do I need to recall David and Goliath?
I know. Oh, that's.
Oh,
let's
snap.
see.
Come on
I'm
now.
still not a David. I'm not that little.
Dude, everybody's preachy
No.
on this topic. I'm
Wow.
just saying.
I can get little Ian to take him down. That's David. And I
Put
guarantee
him
you,
up for it.
he'd line up right up next to
What-
him
what-
in the football field, and he would hit him as hard as he could. That's how my
That's funny.
Ian
Steve,
is.
Steve's
funny.
going to go talk to that guy. He's going to go, listen, I just want you to know.
Mama said that. My mama said that.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so you got teenagers that you got real.
Yeah.
Listen, anybody has teenagers at home has got real problems.
Yes.
I'm just telling you right now. It's those
They
are one
will
of those
cause
things.
stress for sure.
So my biggest stressor is failure. Yeah, it encompasses pretty much everything, whether it's finances, whether it's fathering.
That's kind of a big umbrella.
That is a
But
big
Tim,
umbrella.
Yeah,
The only way you fail is if you quit.
that's not true.
That is true.
No, it's not true.
Yes, it is.
No.
You can always, because the only thing difference between failure and success is the people that keep going.
Well, that's a great John Maxwell take
I
on
know,
things.
and I listen to John Maxwell, so
Yeah.
I know the truth.
Hey, how do you get a plug on here?
I don't even know. I'm just saying.
John Maxwell.
It's a silly approach, but it's absolutely true. And most everybody's worry or stress is usually based on something that is that general premise.
Yeah,
Whether
everybody's
it be
afraid of failing.
Failure
Well,
to meet
yeah,
the
sure.
band.
I mean,
yeah.
you know, money in teenagers, you're afraid of failing to pay your bills, failing to be a good parent. Yeah, sure. That's a very broad. I want something more specific.
Yeah, we want you to get down
What
to
is
the
more
nitty-gritty.
specific?
Where's the gritty?
That's pretty specific. When I start talking about the fact that, I don't, if we're talking about kids, it's the fear of not succeeding in raising them the right way. And missing out on something that I should have. I have, whether it be regrets, whether it be the big stress is making sure that I'm teaching them and utilizing every opportunity that I can to teach them right. And then of course the money thing isn't so hard for me, not anymore. It used to be really bad when we were really in rough shape, and sometimes we didn't know how we were going to have enough groceries or stuff like that. That's one thing. And then you have to choose to trust things, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But money's not so bad as much now because the kids are now, 18 and 20. One of them's about to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And so that I have other worries now. I have other concerns about the way that how that's playing out. And I have to be careful how I say those things because it doesn't mean that I don't trust the Lord in the process. It's just simply, and I think that's what we need to talk about today, because I don't think it's fair for people like us to get preachy to other people about fear, doubt, worry, those kinds of things, when every person in the whole entire universe has a concern. And there's even the Lord gets concerned for his people.
Yes.
He got concerned in the Old Testament. It was like,
what are you doing?
Yeah. Why did you do that? What? And if you go down this path, it's going to hurt you. And I think he gets concerned about where they're headed. You're like, listen, I don't want you to go that path. I don't, even with Paul, when don't go down that path. And it's easy for us to say, okay, trust the Lord and all this stuff, it goes away. I don't think that's true at all.
No.
Mary knew Jesus one-on-one, saw him, still got concerned when he was not there. And he turned around and had to go back and find him in the temple. And I think that Jesus got concerned in the garden. I think when he's praying and he sees the sweat drops of blood pouring out of his pores, and he gets concerned that, this is a little bit of a different take on his prayer there, but I don't think it was that he was freaking out about the fact that he was going to have to endure the cross. I honestly think that he was a little concerned about the fact that his body was given out before he had the opportunity to finish what he had been born to do. And so he's telling the Father, listen, if it's possible, I'm a little concerned that my body is going to give out before I'm able to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish, because that fits the character and dynamic of what he's doing. So I think that Jesus got concerned. I think he got concerned about his followers. I think he got concerned about his mom, which is why he appointed John at the cross. I think there's a lot of scripture that deals with the concern of people. We're putting our mind to it. What is worry? What, by definition, what do you think worry is, Todd?
I think it's a response to an unsure.
Okay.
I mean, realistically, it's an emotion.
Okay. What do you think?
I think it is internalizing something that you think is going to happen that has never happened, that's negative, and to the point where that's all you have to think about. It may not ever occur, but you're thinking that this is what's going to happen. That's worry when it comes to, and you're afraid. that something bad's going to happen and it hadn't even happened yet.
Okay.
Insurance
Joe?
companies.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between worry and concern. I think worry is, like you said, it's fear-based. When we worry about things, it's fear. But showing concern for another person, I think that is more compassion-based. I think that's more love-based when you're concerned about someone. I think there's a big difference between the two things.
I think we always come back to this in the podcast, and I think every one of you had great answers. I think that concern is natural.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you do. It's like knee jerk. Like if I say, like yesterday, we were turning on 155 and there was a big accident on 155. We were just approaching it and there's a tow truck, and immediately my mind went to, I hope that those people are okay.
Yes.
I'm concerned that somebody hit somebody and they might not be okay. And so I went, dear Lord, please make them okay. Please make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
And that was concerning. But the difference between that state of mind, which is a fleeting thought, there is a little bit of fear involved in that. And there is natural fear. Like, I'm not getting close to the edge of the Grand Canyon, so close that it might fall. There's sense in some fear.
Yes.
Okay. So we need to talk about the difference between that kind of fear and that's a whole other podcast. But there is a balance to this concern thing where, okay, my mind's set on something here and I'm concerned for my teenager. I can have that and that be a good thing.
Yes.
Or I can dwell on that and let that thing rule me.
Yeah.
And that is what I believe worry is. In fact, the dictionary says worry is to give way to anxiety or unease and to allow one's mind to dwell on difficulty or troubles. So allowing your concern to get to a place to where you are literally, you can't think about anything else, or you're dwelling on these things to the place to where you're allowing your life to be ruled. Okay. So we're going to tackle this subject because I have hot button topics that I think are going to get some people riled up about this thing.
Okay.
What do you think worry embodies itself in? When we start talking about us worrying, we are now differentiating between, okay, here's a knee-jerk reaction, okay, so the pumpkins didn't come in the way that I thought they were supposed to. And so what's the difference between concern and worry there? What's the process there? Is it natural for us to go, okay, I need to do something about that? That's natural. When does it become worry? When do you think you cross that threshold? Now that we understand the difference between those two, what do you think the difference is between concern and worry? And name a specific.
Well, I think as far as the difference is, I think what happens is when you start worrying, you kind of like you said earlier, you quit. When you quit, you're at the point where you're like, oh, this is just not going to work.
Really? Maybe I'm just psychotic.
Why?
Because
That's possible.
After
we didn't want
27 years of ministry,
here on the podcast.
it's not only possible, it's probable.
There's a good doctor out there that can help us out.
There's a good therapist.
Y'all shut up. Y'all just shut up. I can't believe you actually say that kind of stuff to me.
No, it's all right. Don't worry.
You're going to hurt his feelings.
It's okay.
I'm afraid y'all are going to hurt his feelings.
Hey, don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
They don't care.
It concerns me that y'all are hurting his feelings.
You worry too much.
God, okay, so
explain yourself.
I don't understand that. When I get worried about something, I obsess and try to do everything I can to change that.
Yeah.
Like I have to control that thing. So it's like, all right, so I'm stressed and worried about this. I've really got to get this done. And if I can't get it done, then I keep doing it. It doesn't draw me to quit. It makes me like, I guess that's the fight or flight.
Well, that's
what it is. And
anxiety.
that's what anxiety does.
Well, I do because I'm dwelling on that thing and thinking that I have to control that thing. And there's just some things that I can't. But you're saying that, it makes you quit.
Some people fight and some people flight.
Well, I know, but Todd's saying
like with the pumpkins. So yeah, we had a projected. We put out 800 seeds, and then we were like, okay, on an average, each plant will produce at least 2.
So you thought 1,600.
1,600 pumpkins.
Wow.
And a perfect.
So we were thinking if there was an average suggested donation of $5, that amount, yeah, exactly, that amount of money would come in for the farm, and that would be kind of a boost for us.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, because we're looking to build some other buildings. You know,
Yeah.
we got the chicken coop coming up, we got the butchering, we got the learning center. So all these things. And now we're throwing in a new tractor. So we're starting to think, oh man, that's not going to work, because we saw what was out there. Now, we thought at one point there was only about 40 or 50. Now, come to find out, there's probably about 300
Okay.
once you start picking them out. But as far as worrying goes, at that point I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it this year. We'll have to figure out another way to make the money. And that's where my worry stopped.
Yeah, you controlled it. There was a concern
Right,
there, but it
right.
wasn't necessarily a worry or
worry.
Yeah,
anxiety.
it wasn't like anxiety where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
the money's got to come. The money's got to come. I think what you're saying is the control part. That is definitely true, because there are some things where I've seen people, I try not to do it, but they jump on it and they start throwing everything they got at it. And then that doesn't usually accomplish anything, because that's a shotgun thing. You throw everything at it, and then you end up creating chaos. And then that worry is now anxiety. You're doing chaos. You're now no organization. You have nothing going right, and you're spitballing. Hey, I hope that works. I'm going to throw the spaghetti on the wall, and if it sticks, we're going to go with that one.
Well, sometimes the concern creates the desperation that, I don't know if this thing's going to.
Desperation. That's
I know. I'm just saying the exasperation and the anxiety that comes along with that concern breeding into that worry. I think there are people that believe that that's the position that they have to take with every situation that comes and presents themselves. They learn to live. There are people in business that I know that they thrive on that mindset, and it makes them sharp and focused, but they live in that place. But where does that? Let's ask you the same question I asked Todd. Where does concern cross into worry, and what does that look like in your life?
Okay, so it's great to be concerned, because concern causes action. Yeah, a lot of times it does. And stress is okay. There's healthy stress, and stress causes you to have action. What happens is whenever you turn your concern and you start dwelling on that concern, and that's all you think about, and then you start dwelling on, okay, I've got to get this done, or this is going to happen, and then you start thinking about all the bad things that could happen because of what's going on, and then you start thinking, okay, I'm failing, and then once you go to that, then when you start feeling like a failure, then that's whenever you can really depression comes in, and then it goes from fight to flight. Then they quit, and then they don't want to. Then a person can just come to a point where they are so depressed, and they're so worried, and they're so anxious that all they can do is live in anxiety and fear,
And it's crippling.
and it cripples their life. It takes their life away, and then from there they start having physical. They start having problems with their health, and because all that comes together. I think I used to be so afraid of failure, and then once I experienced what failure was, I'm like, okay, I lost everything that I was afraid of losing, and now I realize I'm still alive, I'm still going, I'm still good, I still got God, He's still right there with me. And then I realized that there's no reason to be that worried, because God's going to help you through it if you just trust Him.
Okay.
It's good.
What do you think? Where does it cross the line for you, concern and worry?
I think it's the obsession to fix it.
Yeah.
When you start that obsession to fix it on your own strength. I have to fix this. If I don't fix this, the whole world's going to fall apart. And we let those negative things get all up in our head, and then we start listening to voices that are definitely not of God, and it turns into an obsession. It's it's one thing to concern means you care. You care about something. When Todd had his heart attack,
Yeah.
I was concerned.
Yes.
Didn't
We all
obsess. I know. I love you, Todd. But you know what I mean? There was concern there. Obviously, I feel like that was a healthy concern.
Yes.
Someone you love is in trouble. When you were in the hospital, we were concerned. That means you care.
Yes.
There's such the opposite reaction. If you're not concerned about anything, that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother problem. But the concern, I feel like, is good. It's when that concern turns into a worry. The caring turns into oh my gosh, we have to obsess over this. We have to fix this. And, if I had been just totally psycho and, I'm going to call you every day and make sure you're on your medicine and you can't do this and you can't do that because I felt like I had to fix what's wrong with you.
I took my medicine today.
Okay, thank you. I can quit worrying about that
Today,
now.
but did you take it yesterday?
Yeah.
But it,
Oh.
Ow.
ew.
Welcome to blood thinner.
Well, okay.
Were you
I think there's a balance here, though,
wrestling
man.
somebody?
I honestly think that what we've got this issue of is the Bible. It says, "Do not worry." Okay.
Yeah.
So I get the command there. I also think that there's plenty of scriptures that say that there's going to be anxiety. How can you cast your anxiety or care on Him if you didn't have it?
Yeah.
Okay. Or
Right.
how do you say, don't be anxious for anything, but with all prayer? Listen, there are statements in the Bible that are creating this expectation in some people's minds that God expects you to never worry about something. And I think what he's entailing here is not the fact that you're not allowed to be concerned, especially in this regard. When you make boneheaded decisions, you're going to have to deal with the outcome of that boneheaded decision.
Yeah.
Okay? And guess what that's going to result in?
Worry.
It's going to result in concern. Okay? And it's the probability is that you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I made a boneheaded decision. And now I have to reap the consequences of that boneheaded decision.
Yeah.
Do you think the Bible is telling you, hey, listen, don't be concerned for the outcomes of your boneheaded decision, but cast all your boneheaded decisions on Jesus and all that stuff that's stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So if you're out there and you're having money problems and you're not looking at your spending, then you're making a boneheaded decision.
Yeah.
And you can
Right.
expect that you'll have the same failures, and those same failures are going to play into your anxiety and worry. If you keep making the same stinking decision, then of course you're going to find yourself in a place of concern all the time.
Yeah.
Why? Because you keep making the same boneheaded decisions.
Yeah.
You cannot keep on in selfishness and expect there to not be ramifications of those actions. So I think the system isn't flawed. I think God created a system where there is absolutely cause and effect. And if you're out there and you're making stupid choices, and you're going to find yourself in a place to where you better concern yourself. You better. I think that sometimes we need to be concerned about the things that we're doing.
Absolutely.
I'll bring it personal to me. If I don't want to have a heart attack, then I don't need to be going out and eating pizza every stinking day, every night, even though I really, really want to sometimes. A boneheaded decision would be, and then to sit there in reaction in 10, 12, 15 years from now, and I'm having to have a quadruple bypass and my arteries, it's like syrup when they're pouring out the blood, that kind of thing. Well, of course it is. But I'm sitting there saying, well, I'm anxious and worried about this thing. Well, of course I am. Why? Because I made a boneheaded decision. So how do I balance these two things? Because people are out there right now and say, okay, listen, I've made some boneheaded decisions. I know I've made some boneheaded decisions. I know that there's ramifications. Where does it come from concern and where does it draw into worry? Well, this is the deal. I can't change the past. So what do? I do what I can do in right now. So when it comes to money, pumpkins, kids, failure, my kids, any of that, performance anxiety, any of those things. When we start looking at those things, Todd alluded to it. I think you actually said it. It's a choice in that moment. What are the things that I can control? What are the things that it is in my responsibility level to deal with? Because God gave me a brain. He gave me a heart, and he gave me revelation. Those are things and tools that he has given us, right? And he's got Holy Spirit there, right there next to you.
Yes.
If you're walking with him in a relationship. So he's giving you some great tools to deal with the situation. You're still going to have to take responsibility. And there are people right now, I'm sure, that are going, oh my God, my anxiety level's rising because you said I have to take responsibility. Well, you need to grow up.
Well, but I want to clarify something too, because you, a second ago, you made it sound like all stress and anxiety comes from making boneheaded decisions.
No, there are sometimes you can't control that.
Just want to clarify. That's not what you're saying.
Factors.
Like, there are outside factors that you can't control. And so that's where you're saying, you know, whenever you get stressed, whenever you have that worry, you need to stop and take an inventory. Is this something that is within my control?
To control.
To change, to make better, because sometimes there are situations that just happen, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you're innocent. You've done everything you can do. But I was going to go there. I wanted to make sure and deal with the responsibility level and concern, and then say, okay, but there are some times where you've got a Charles Manson, or you've got a, you know, these situations where somebody else is making a boneheaded decision, and it affects you, and you can't control that. So what do you? How in the world? It's like inflation. Listen, I did everything I could in my power that I thought was necessary to make sure that wasn't going to happen, but
inflation.
I mean, I cast what I thought was the best vote possible. I did everything I possibly could to make sure that I handled the responsibility levels that were given to me. But there's nothing I can do other than continue to speak out or continue to do what I believe is my responsibility. But I don't need to sit there and obsess over the fact. And that's where people go now.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, okay, now we got to dig a 10-foot, 1,000-foot, you know, underground facility and stockpile with, and people, we have to do all that stuff. I just think that's there's some sort of.
Hey, don't call me out like that.
I'm just saying, man. I love you guys, but what in our society at this point are you going to do by worrying and concerning yourself? And that's what I keep contending about guns and things like that. I'm like, there is so much that I can control on that. But that's what we're talking about here. You're saying, okay, when you make boneheaded decisions, you have a right to be concerned about those things. Why? Because you could have made a different decision.
Right.
However, there are times where things beyond your control happen, and you still have to ask that same question. What things are in my purview to handle and not handle? And if you allow those things to become a place of, I can't function, I can't, because Steve is making this decision, I can't function. Well, then you're allowing that to be something, that's another boneheaded decision. You can't allow those things to become God things because that'll control you. Like my teenagers, or, you know, whether, you know, acceptance or pumpkins. How could you have controlled that? How many pumpkins were coming out?
I couldn't.
Yeah. How do you control whether or not you have customers that decide to leave you? You can't.
Right.
All you can do is give them your best.
Yeah. Do the best you can. Do what you can do.
Serve them the best I can.
So what does that look like spiritually? So if we do the best that we can do, we have to do that as unto the Lord. Offer what we can.
Yeah.
Our lives a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Lord, our reasonable act of worship. And then having done all that you can do to stand, you stand.
Yeah.
And that means there's a trust level that God can work all things together. God does work all things together for the good of those that love God and are called according to his purposes.
Yeah.
So that means what? When you are facing a situation that you've done all that you can do to stand, and that you are still not seeing the outcomes that you want.
Cast your cares on him.
Well, I had, like, me personally, I have to remember God's always taking care of me.
Yes.
I can look back on so many, when I get stressed about money, I mean, this is, I make a conscious effort to do this.
Yes.
Stop. Can I control this? Is there anything I can do better? If I come to the conclusion, okay, no, I'm just, it just is what it is, I cannot do anything better, then it's like, okay, Lord, help me to remember you have always taken care of me in the past. And that's where I think the, you know, consider the lilies comes in. God has always taken care of his kids. It may not look the way I want it to look. It may be tight in the moment, but God has always provided. He has
Yes.
always taken care of me. And who am I to say, well, he may have done it in the past, but he may not do it right now. Well, that's not consistent with his character. If he has taken care of me in the past, why wouldn't he take care of me right now?
Yes.
If I'm doing everything in my power to serve him,
And seek
to
him first.
handle my business according to how he has called me to handle it, then I've done everything that I can.
Yeah.
And then it's like you said, there's a trust factor there. I have to trust that God is going to take care of me.
Yes.
And it never fails when I get to that point. When I stop and get over myself and realize I cannot do this by myself. Gotta have
Yes.
God. I just can't do it.
Yes.
He always comes through.
Yes.
Always. It never fails. So why wouldn't I keep doing that? But I'm hard-headed.
No, that's not true.
No, but we are. We're hard-headed, and that's why it says you have to renew your mind daily. You have to do that every day.
We have to be
every day.
We have to be careful. Because I think secretly, maybe not out loud, secretly, we get an idea of how God is supposed to answer these things.
Of course we do.
Well, sure.
Hey, can we call that a hope? Why do we have to be
We have an
secretive?
idea.
Yeah. Why?
I mean-
why?
But he's always going to answer it the way he wants to answer it.
That's right, but sometimes
that
that
for
does not
certain.
look like alleviation of your circumstance.
No, it doesn't always lead.
Well,
But
no,
but see, that's what leads a lot of people, especially who are perfect minded. Okay, when you get an idea in your mind of how this thing is supposed to play out,
Sure.
you begin to worship that image instead of worshiping the Lord, and that causes doubt, fear, anxiety, stress in people. And so what they do is, if it doesn't look like the thing that they ought to make it look like, or they think that it ought to look like, then they have this stress and anxiety and worry that, oh my God, you're not working these things out. When all along, he's actually doing exactly what he set out to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Develop
Right.
you, make you better, have you learn some stuff. And you're like, well, I don't think it's time for him to teach me that at all. I need more money. No, you don't. You just need to learn that you don't need Starbucks.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he's trying to
That's
teach
right.
you there are some things. I'm sorry.
Todd's ADD. is
So am I,
kicking in,
dude.
y'all.
I'm ADD and too.
There's a wasp right there. He's on the light.
All right.
Oh, good.
Things are about to get interesting in this place. I'm not worried about it. All right. So,
Todd's
anyways,
worried. Todd is worried about the. Look, don't obsess with it. Okay, that's where it crosses the line.
I might be concerned, but I'm definitely not going to sit here and ruin my life on it. All I'm saying is that you understand where I'm coming from. What we get is, okay, I have a particular idea of how I think the Lord should deal with a certain situation in my life, which will remain nameless. And I have a way that I think he ought to do that. But it seems to me that that's not happening. If I obsess over my method and I worship my method, then what I end up doing is I start stressing and being anxious about it not working out the way that I think it ought to work out. People that like lists and people that when it doesn't work out in their order, sometimes they freak out about those kinds of things. And this is where, when I say present your life a living sacrifice, there are things that you can't control.
Yeah.
Even
Right.
if you believe that you can list this thing out and it was in your I have a father that loves to control things. He was a controller. That's a title that they give out to some accountants, a comptroller. Okay.
That's
And
his
there is
gift,
there is no better controller than my father. He's amazing at what he does. But I will tell you this, that sometimes my dad, and all is concerned, and he'll say this to you, with everything that he tries to think up, and sometimes he can get so wrapped up in that concern that he moves before he should, or he gets concerned so much that like you said, shotgunning everything, and it becomes chaos. And I think that happens because, it's not happening the way that I think it ought to. It needs to happen the way I need it to happen.
Right.
And that, in essence, is idolatry. And I'll say, I know that's a hard word for some of you guys out there, but what you need to understand is, just because God does not answer your prayer the way that you wanted him to answer it, does not mean that he's not answering your prayer.
I know that
Sure.
one.
If you are getting stressed and worried and anxious about the fact that it doesn't look the way you thought it ought to look, maybe you need to trust him enough to know that he's going to work out these, even if it means, boy, and this is hard,
Step in it. Go ahead.
Well, even if that means that you have to endure thorns,
Yeah.
or you have to endure sicknesses,
Yeah, not everything's
or
rainbows and
or death.
cookies.
God didn't spare his own son.
Nope.
That's true.
Yep.
I'm just saying. So our proverbial box that we put God in sometimes leads to anxiety and doubt. And I'm not saying that it isn't going to come. You're going to be concerned about your kids.
Oh yeah.
But just because I'm concerned doesn't mean God's going to work it out the way that I want him to. Doesn't mean I can't. What does Philippians 4 say? I love that too. How do I
do all things through Christ?
What is he talking about though, bro?
Well, okay, so my interpretation of that.
No, don't do that.
My interpretation.
Do not do that.
The Holy Spirit gave me. The way I look at it is, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I believe that if we do everything that we can do, He's going to take care of all the part that we can't.
According to what?
According to Miss Robbins.
According to take care of everything, and what does that encompass?
Okay, so God will honor us doing our part. If we just sit there on the sidelines and we're not doing anything, we expect Him to do everything for us. We still have our part that we're supposed to do. So if we do the part that we're supposed to do, that we can do within our power, then He will give us that supernatural strength, and He will do the rest.
What is Paul referring to in this passage, though?
That he was talking to his church and its money.
Yeah, he's talking. I have learned to live
with
much and with little,
but I've been content.
I can do
all things through Christ who gives me strength. So Paul is in prison, but he's doing his part. He's writing the whole most of the Bible. He didn't even know it then, but he was writing most of the Bible. He was doing his part.
Well, most of the New Testament.
Yeah, the New Testament. And then God was using what he wrote for us now.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is,
he was concerned about the churches because he was the apostle. He was over those churches, and he sees what they're doing, and he's concerned that they're doing stuff that's not what God wants them to do in their church, and he's trying to teach them, okay, you guys, y'all need to stop doing this. This is what you need to do. You know, he's teaching them, and that's how he teaches them through the letters, and that's why he's teaching. That's how God's using them to teach us through those scriptures.
Okay, so I'm in wholehearted agreement with you on that.
Okay.
He's trying
I can look on your face. I still haven't said anything you wanted to hear.
No, it's good. It's not bad at all. In fact, I agree that he was concerned about where they were at. He was concerned about the fact they didn't have provision. He had genuine concern about those things. My point in bringing that up was this was not. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens. That doesn't mean that he's not speaking to you lifting weights.
I am lifting weights.
Yeah, I think we all.
I can get up there and put 400 pounds now.
He's not speaking to your method of.
Come on, Jesus.
Yeah, but I've seen some clothing out there that says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and hopefully I could get this next bench press in. If you're putting God in a box and telling him how he's supposed to work it out, I think he's laughing at those plans. My point in that was to say, don't do that. Allow yourself the space to allow God to work in ways that you never thought possible. And yes, you'll be surprised. And yes, it's an adventure. And no, you won't have all your answers. But you won't have a lot of the anxiousness and the worry that you have if you realize that he's on the job, even if you can't see him being on the job. And when I said Philippians 4, which says, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I will say rejoice. And that does not mean to put on fake happy faces and be stupidly, annoyingly positive. I'm just saying that with the concern,
yes, it does, Tim.
People.
No, that's not what it means.
It does too.
It does not.
That's my interpretation.
Of course it does. And verse 5, let your gentle spirit be known to all people, Steve. And the Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything. And again, that anxious word is talking about being so wrapped up in and dwelling on the fear and the doubt that you can't function. You have to do everything you can to. Don't be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and pleading with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And he doesn't even say that he'll answer the prayer the way you want it to. He just says, and the peace of God, which surpasses all comprehension,
Yes.
will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. And then he says, and so until then, finally, to wrap this thing up, this little thought, don't want you to think about all this stuff. And he labels all the things in the process. So how do I battle stress, doubt, and worry? Well, go read Philippians 4.
Yes.
Ashley says, praising while we wait.
That's
good.
Yeah, that's a great one,
huge.
too.
That's massive. Not only praising, but setting your mind on things above. Allowing yourself to think about whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable. If there's any excellence and if anything worthy of praise, think about these things. You know what
Yes.
that means to me when I'm in anxiousness and doubt and worry? I do not need to turn on the television and watch the news.
Amen.
Are you sure?
I do not need to go to the newspapers and start looking at everything that is,
No.
I don't need to go and listen to
Gossip.
psychotherapists about all the things that I'm doing wrong as a parent. What I do need to do is I need to go to the Lord and I need to pray and I need to plead with thanksgiving and I'm going to let my request be made known to him and then I'm going to release it and allow him to bring peace to my heart and to guard my mind. And how do I guard my mind? How do I renew my mind? Do what Philippians 4:8 says.
Pray.
Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. So again, I'm going to ask though, and we'll go around the room, starting with Todd. Is it impossible to do what Jesus commanded us to do?
No, it's not impossible. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Make that choice.
Now, I think it's impossible not to be concerned. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Absolutely.
But he doesn't say don't be concerned.
But that's
Yeah,
an
it says
emotion.
don't worry.
We were given emotions for a reason.
That's true. I think that there's going to be concern moments in our life. Although people will go to the dictionary and say, well, it's synonymous with worry. Shut up. Worry is dwelling. We're differentiating that, okay? If the Democrat, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. The Democrats can change terminology, then so can we. Concern and worry are two different things. If I'm having a knee-jerk reaction, the concern. So that I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. Okay, what do you think? Do you think, knowing what you know now about concern and worry, do you think it is impossible to do what Jesus is saying? Do you think that God commanded you to do something that was impossible to do?
I think that it is possible, but I think he gave us the what to do when it turns to worry, when it becomes anxious. Pray, and then trust in him, and let his peace give you guard your mind and heart, so you don't go there.
Again, I say the way you don't go there, the way you do not be anxious about anything, is that in everything, by prayer and pleading with thanksgiving, let your requests be made to know. And he
Give
gives
it
us
to
that.
God.
So how do I not be anxious? And he gives us the tools to do that.
Yes, give it to God.
That's right. Give it to God and think about,
The good things.
well, not only that, but set your mind on things above. Set your mind on, renew your mind. Transform.
Your
Yeah.
thinking.
That's what we're talking about in youth right now, is being grateful. And
That's a great one for youth.
It boils. Amen. He's
I'm
passionate
concerned
about
about-
that. Yeah. But it boils down to, and that's what we talked about this week, is being thankful for things. Oh, there's something I'm thankful for. My teenager's calling me. Go away. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
She's evidently not that concerned.
She's
I'm
not
not that concerned over that one. She can wait. But it's about being thankful, and I think when it boils down to it, that a lot of our worry and stress, if we make it a habit to be thankful for what we have,
Yes.
and not focus on what we don't have.
That's right.
Be thankful for the things that God has done and not worry about the things that haven't happened yet. Then it's a lot easier to deal with stress and anxiety when you are thankful for what God has done in the past.
Yes.
Yes, I have this situation and it's worrisome, but I can see what God has done in the past. Like, I'm thankful for
So what if you don't have that experience though, Joe? What if somebody has just gotten to the place to where they're walking with the Lord and they can't look back and see where God has done stuff in their life in the past?
Well, that's their first fire.
Right.
That's their first trial, and that's where the trust. I mean, that's faith. That is. I mean, if you're a brand new Christian, that is a testing of your faith right there. And that is. I mean, I tell my kids all the time, like, what you're going through right now will set your foundation for how you look at things in the future.
How you handle
because these are the things, these are the trials that you're going to look back on right now, and you're either going to see how you put your faith in God and He got you through it, or how you tried to manhandle it on your own and it all fell to pieces.
One is a boneheaded decision.
Yes, one is definitely a boneheaded decision.
And some of us need to learn.
Lean not on your own understanding.
But in all your ways, acknowledge Him and He will make your path straight.
Yes.
The unfortunate dilemma is when we think we actually can determine the outcome of those situations. And we don't really get to do that. That's not on us. I think that the simplest answer for people with or without experience is to go to Philippians 4 and follow that. Trust the word enough to know you can follow that. It does not mean that your concern will go away or that the situation will be alleviated, but it does mean that you will be better equipped mentally and spiritually and maybe emotionally to handle those things.
And you can go to Psalms and you can see how David handled his. He was very down and depressed, and
sometimes
but he would praise his way and put his hope by the. I mean, he was down there, but he would he'd praise his way out by the end of the scripture. He would say, "I put my trust in the Lord. He is my hope. He is my strength. He is my shield. He is my shelter." I mean, he would always, but he would say, he would be down big time. So he was a singer. He was a musician. He was emotional.
Extreme highs and lows.
Yes, extreme highs and lows.
I also love what the Bible says when, we've always heard the saying, "Don't borrow trouble," and that's what that verse is. Don't worry about tomorrow's troubles. Like, there's enough for today. And that's another thing that I try to tell the kids all the time. When you get worried about something, don't borrow tomorrow's trouble. Don't worry about what.
Was it Harry Potter? Dumbledore said. Was it Dumbledore said that? Because when you worry, you said no. It was the new one, Fantastic Beasts, where what's his face, Newt, Scamander. They're talking about something. He goes, "My philosophy is that if I worry, I usually suffer twice."
Yeah.
And one of the best lines in the new series.
Yeah.
You suffer with worry, and you suffer when it either comes around or it doesn't come around. So worrying makes you suffer twice.
Yeah. Don't borrow trouble.
Yeah.
I like that.
Somebody out there is going, I'm worried that he's quoting Harry Potter. Don't worry.
Keep worrying, honey.
Don't worry.
Still, yeah.
Hey.
Don't discount the message for the messenger.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He can use donkeys. Evidently.
That's right.
Look who's pastoring Crossroads. Okay, so I'm hoping that we're answering any questions. Do anybody have anything on there that we're missing or that we need to go through? Or
Ashley is she's on point today with stuff. She's talking about praising while we wait. At the same time that Paul was concerned, God was using him to write biblically, so that's awesome. And she says it's so hard, but it is not impossible.
It is not impossible.
I agree.
You're absolutely right, Ashley. Anybody else in there saying anything other than great, cool, thanks for rock on? What else do we got?
Yeah, I know Lee Thomas had a flat tire yesterday, so he was having a hard day.
Oh yeah,
he was having a hard day. I don't think he's not on here with us.
Was he concerned?
Yeah, he was.
Is he? I think
he was concerned.
I think he was concerned. Yeah, making a long day.
Yeah, you need guys need to give yourself the leeway to experience the knee-jerk reaction, and sometimes that leads to good action when the concern does. I'm not saying that's a bad thing all the time. But when you allow those things to chain you down to where it's marking you into depression, it's placing you into places where you're dwelling on those things instead of dwelling on the Lord and His promises and His truth and all the things that are true, honorable, right, pure, lovely, commendable, excellence, and praiseworthy. Also, just to further this thing, and then we'll be done, is don't sit there and feed your mind trash, movie wise, book wise, stuff like that. And like if I'm reading a book about how the world's going to end tomorrow because everything's terrible, don't expect, if I feed my mind with those things, what do you think you're going to be doing? You're going to be, or if I'm reading a book that's filled with malice and talking bad about Republican or Democrat, or any of those things. Or if I become poisonous because I'm reading stuff and what do you think is going to come out? As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Garbage in, garbage out. So if you want to control your fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, that kind of stuff, then be careful what you're feeding your mind if you're having problems with that. I had recently somebody contact me about the end times. They saw, believe it or not, a TikTok video about,
it's got to be of the
That's
Lord.
reliable.
about the Euphrates River drying up.
It's almost there.
Euphrates.
It's almost there.
It's almost dried up. Yeah, it is almost dried up. It's not quite there, but because there is prophecy in Revelation about the Euphrates River drying up. Now, there are two things, maybe three things that I want you to ask. First of all, has the Euphrates River ever dried up before? Number one. Number two, did the world end when the Euphrates River dried up before? If it did.
Oh, I guess it did.
I guess it did.
Okay. Number three, how many times has there been the people out there going, the world's ending tomorrow, the world's ending tomorrow? One of these times you're going to be right.
Yeah.
Is it in your purview or your control whether or not Euphrates River dries up or not? And if it is, why in the world are you freaked out?
You shouldn't worry.
Why? God's coming. If he's coming and you
coming.
love him,
Come on.
If he's coming,
Hey,
come.
maybe these people are worried because they're not right with God.
maybe these people are worried because they want to experience life.
Or maybe
They want to
these
have
people-
kids, or they want to get married, or they
Or
want to do
maybe
these
they
things.
want their kids saved before he comes too.
That might be right, but can you control that?
No.
No.
We can't. But we can still
You
be
can hope.
concerned about
You
it.
can be concerned about those things.
Yeah.
Sure,
It's like because we want our kids to be in heaven with us.
sure,
Sure.
we do. Sure, we do. But that
Loved
same
ones.
thing, be careful the leeway that you give and the stronghold that you give to that line of thinking. If I'm sitting there and all I can contemplate is the fact that they're not saved, I'm not thinking about what is commendable or true or right or just or excellent or praiseworthy. I'm thinking about all the ways
it
that
can
my
come
kid's a
in
failure.
From concern to worry, I know.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you got to be careful what you're what you're allowing to
That's
rule
where the
your
prayer comes in. Keep praying for him. Keep
Thanksgiving.
praying for him. Keep
Give it
praying
to the
for
Lord.
him.
That's
Yes.
right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. I don't have a song of the week. We're not going to listen to a song of the week.
I'm
We're
going to
just
sing for you. I'm just kidding.
That would make me worry.
Steve, we talked about this before the podcast. Calm down.
I got nervous.
It's like my mama said that that was good,
Anxiety got-
and
I love my mama very much.
I do.
He does. Actually, I listened to a couple of Steve's little things. He's doing all right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, why'd you do that?
Thank
Why
you.
did you? Why did you do that?
Well, I didn't tell him to sing right now. I just said I've heard his little.
Yeah, I
live
understand, but you know,
previews.
now I'm really worried that he's going to have a big head, and now I'm going to have to really bring him down to side. I'm playing.
Well, there's a reason why he wears those headphones. 'Cause they're all stretched out. I can't even. I tried putting them on the other day. They just fell right off my head.
Listen, if you're listening to this and if you need some help, we've got counselors here at Crossroads that would love to help you if you need and reach out to get some help on these things, give you some tools on how to take care of that stress, anxiety, and worry, or maybe you just need some prayer. We want to help you guys
Yes.
out. You make sure and give us a contact. Again, you can email me at tim@timletch.com. That's timletsch.com. And you could talk to me there. Or if you just want to, comment or make some suggestions or something like that, other than it's going too long, it's okay. You don't have to listen to the whole thing right off the bat. You can do this in spurts and segments.
Yes.
We understand. And I think it's good that we're having the whole entire conversation now. I think it's a great podcast. Again, thanks to Crossroads Community Church for letting us
Yes.
use the podcast room and for sponsoring this podcast. And thanks for you guys for coming in. I know you have busy schedules and got a lot of stuff going on, but you take the Friday to come in here and have the conversation.
Yes.
And we hope you join us next week. But until then,
This is Todd Bergen.
Steve Howard.
It's Joanna Grace.
and this is PT. If no one's told you, God loves you, and so do I. We hope you have a great week. Do not worry.
Be happy.
Be happy.
We couldn't play because we don't have permission. We'll see you later. Bye.